Yeah, all
But
what do you call them?
okay,
With young leaders or whatever. So this is the new guy, Christopher Luxon, the current Prime Minister of New Zealand, having taken office in 2023. He leads a conservative coalition after his National Party struck a deal with two smaller parties following the general election in 2023. So they're also becoming more nationalist, populist, it seems.
That's what I'm trying to
Um,
say. It's in the water, dude. It's
yeah,
so
yeah.
so when you hear this shit about immigration, just to understand what's really going on. It's like these nationalist groups are coming in and they're subverting the conservative parties. Like you're not actually.
Isn't the conservatives nationalists?
No, they are freaking they're fundamentalist is what they are. They believe in freaking their traditions and their values, and they believe that freaking laws should be created from naturally and organically from the freaking people, the community, rather than to be forced onto
yeah.
people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's the conservative idea.
So again,
You're talking too fast, Mark.
is questionable. Um, um, the the idea of conservatism is also is related to national borders, being able to control your own laws, again control, have some sovereignty, rather than being dictated by a foreign entity
Well,
such as the European Union,
let
European
me
Commission.
kind of elaborate on that. Okay, from my findings, what I found out was for England, for example, where conservative actually started. Okay, there is
Mm.
no freaking evidence of the conservative party actually in the beginning up to a certain time period concerning themselves with freaking immigration. They were more concerned with trade and with tariffs, which we were talking about, but that wasn't
Yeah,
that had nothing to do
the
with the
time
immigration.
there was no real reason to be concerned.
Well, you got to remember
That would be the argument. That would be the counter argument.
during the time that the conservatives were in power, freaking you had the socialist movements that were coming in saying that they need to unionize government and they need to freaking make all private freaking companies freaking part of the state. Okay, they believe
Yeah.
that banking systems should be ran by the state. They believe that freaking all own companies that were owned and
Who are
operated
you talking about? Socialists?
the socialists in English,
Yeah.
England.
He's
Yeah, yeah.
talking about these. He's talking about these sort of workers who controls. Or what's the
Well, that is the definition of,
Austrian?
well,
Yeah.
partially the definition of socialism is controlling
Worker,
major
the workers
industries
will take.
by the people.
Yeah.
But you got to
Sorry.
remember when conservatism was taken real. Well, I guess it would kind of be at the ending of their really thing. But that was a concern of theirs. You know what I'm saying? Like they were worried about this kind of stuff,
What
and
kind of stuff?
they were worried about the socialists and the ideas that they were trying to impose because they didn't believe that the freaking state should be controlling freaking private businesses and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They didn't think that it was necessary for the state to step in and freaking regulate who owns a business and freaking how they should run it. You know, that's not a
Mm,
conservative idea at all.
mm.
I mean,
Well,
Again,
yeah. But I also think, like, with true socialism, it shouldn't be like the state governs maybe those corporations, but it's really just the power of the people that are like filtered through the state. That's what it's meant to be.
they
Surely that
didn't
gets.
they didn't originally want it to even be what you're interpreting it as. They wanted full and absolute control. Okay, I mean there was none of this There was none of this flopping around to make people happy bullshit. You know what I mean? They wanted it all.
Well, you're talking about communism.
No, this is socialism. There's the first international, the second international, and the third international. Communism is the third international, the third part of the socialist freaking plan. Okay, we're talking right now. What me and Mark are talking to you about is the second international, which was the conference that was held. Two of them were actually held. One was held in England, and the other one was held. No, they were both held in France, but one was.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, but
the first countries to implement socialist principles in their governance include China, Vietnam, Cuba, Laos, and North Korea. Now, you could argue that those countries are most efficiently run, except but maybe China and North Korea, but yeah,
then
they didn't take control. But they weren't. I don't know. I wouldn't say they were pure socialists. They were more communists, right?
I don't see a difference between the two, other than the fact that the pure socialism, they didn't believe in violence, is what the difference is.
The difference is communism is fascist socialism, whereas like the what I would call pure socialism is about cooperative enterprise. I would call it like a cooperative, you know. I don't think that's ever been done successfully, but I would like to see it. Like, it's been done in communities, but not in countries. And I would argue that the reason for that is they started communism to stop real socialism from happening because they knew how powerful it would be. And there has been places in, like, I think Netherlands, where they had like a socialist city where the bank was owned by the community and everything, and it became really prosperous at one point.
But also on the other end of the point then, if you are a business owner and you want to create employment, you want to create a business, should you own that business, or should the state own the business? Yeah. If you are, if you want to have your own little house out in the woods, should you be able to purchase the house?
Just from like a game theory point of view. From a game theory point of view, it makes more sense to have cooperative enterprise and to be able to take out loans without interest than it would be to every man for himself and like pure capitalism.
Again, going back to you will own nothing and you will be happy.
Look at this shit.
Remember that. You will own nothing and you will be happy.
I'm the
Well, that's the opposite of what I'm saying. I'm saying you should own everything with everyone else and be even happier.
That doesn't freaking fly, dude. That's freaking...
Yeah, that doesn't fly.
That's like the socialist.
Sorry, you guys are just closed-minded.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Like, you're trying to be smooth and shit and talk side.
No, I'm not.
You are, dude.
Have you never heard of a cooperative? See, you got to spend more time with the hippies, Roger.
A co-op. What the hell you think a freaking socialist co-op is? Cooperative.
Yeah, exactly. Cooperation is better than every man for himself. That's how humans have survived through ice ages and shit.
So you don't believe in competition? You don't believe in less than fair markets?
I don't.
You don't believe in
I don't think competition is necessarily the most efficient way to do something. I think it's the natural way of things happening. But I think incentivization could be just as powerful.
You want to stagnate?
What?
Stagnate. That's his English. No, he said
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I want to create prosperity for everyone rather than just for the select few, which is what this system has created. And we have 1% of the population, less than 1% of the population, owning 99% of the wealth. All right, that's what capitalism does in the end, because some win and some don't.
Hold up, what I'm seeing with your interpretation of freaking of progress is freaking barefooted women who are pregnant, living in a freaking home with 15 other people who have to share the same bathroom, and they're growing gardens in the backyard so that they can freaking thrive. Okay.
Growing their own food that it doesn't have petrochemicals in it.
Like,
I mean, what's wrong with free love, man? What's wrong with free love, Roger? You should try it.
Barefooted, pregnant, and growing cantaloupes in the backyard.
Are you telling me you won't get these girls pregnant?
Also, he's talking about he doesn't want individual responsibility.
I see that dude right there.
Opposite. If you're a co-owner of an organization, you have more responsibility, right? It's kind of like the United States. It's like it's the people's responsibility to maintain the republic. It's not like they can just go hands off, because then the tyrants take over. It's the same with a cooperative. You know, you got to like put the work in and you get the benefits.
Well, see, the thing is we finally get to talk to somebody like this, because last time we had this conversation, it was with Bob Dub, okay? And like everybody worries about saying the wrong thing to Bob Dub because she will freaking like start crying and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everybody.
It's the way some people measure the language.
Right. Well, I'm just saying we were all tippy toeing around this with freaking Bob Dub.
Some of us won't.
But then Otto freaking turns around and says some freaking comments about Coca-Cola and shit. And like all of a sudden, she just fucking went nuts. So this is basically our only time to actually have a conversation with somebody like you.
Even cooperatives need some kind of governance structure, but there's many ways you can do that, right? You could have hybrid systems. Often it has some kind of voting involved, like some kind of democratic process within it. But it comes down to who owns it. Right? Do you want some rich cunt overseas to own your critical infrastructure, or would you rather be a co-owner of the things that you need to survive, or and therefore have a stake?
Thank you, Marx. Again, you as an individual own nothing, and you will be happy, according to Mr.
And you will eat the bugs. And you will eat some bugs.
And you will eat some bugs.
Yeah, thank you, Marxist robot.
Klaus Schwab.
Okay, so we have come to freaking 5 hours and 45 minutes. We were able to cover your guys' politics as far as we possibly could. But the rest of this later on we can hold on to, because it really doesn't pertain to us in particularly. Like, I really don't give a rat's ass about Canada's sovereignty in jeopardy in the 51st state. I don't really care about freaking Faisal Islam. You know, Carney wants to lead G7 fight back on Trump's tariffs and stupid shit like that. You know, fucking Canada, to be honest, I mean, they're really, really lucky they have a government. I just found out that like they've only had their constitution since like the freaking 1980s and shit. You know what I mean? I think freaking didn't Australia have like a constitution longer than that? I mean,
1901.
I mean, you know what I mean? Come on, dude. Fucking, it took you 80 years after freaking Australia got theirs. You know, so I mean, all I hear is stupid people. That's the only thing.
What kind